they've come around pretty nice.
Dude, I know, man.
For sure.
They really started locking in, I guess.
Who's
I
lighting
guess
up on
they
D? Is it Raymond who's balling out right now? No, Maurice Sider. He's playing.
Maurice is
yes.
playing. We call him Mo Money. I don't
Who's
think anyone
we?
else calls him that. Yeah, me and my family. I don't think
Mo
anyone else
Money.
calls him that.
Let me shut this
Mo
light
Money, Mo
behind me.
Cider.
He's got a nice contract right now too, right?
Yeah.
Like
Money. It's
like a
crazy.
7 by 7.5 or something, like a nice
Something
hometown
like
discount.
that. I don't want to say 8, but yeah, look it up, Jared.
I'll look it up. Yeah,
Get to work.
8.5 a year. That's
Yeah,
pretty solid, and he's making a case for.
Yeah, he's great, dude. I do really like Rasmussen too.
What is it, Norris?
Mm-hmm.
But there's still a couple pieces. I think the Red Wings, the East is the only conference like I've ever seen. Like every team is 500 right now. I just think one team just dropped below 500, but everyone has been 500 for like weeks, which is absurd. Like the West has like so many teams that are way lower and then way higher. Like, how do you guys think of that?
When you look at the East and you look at a lot of first and second year coaches, I think people don't realize it takes a little longer than what you think to buy into a system and plus have a full team healthy. So you look at the Rangers with Sullivan, they're going through their lumps. I think they're going to go through more. Sorry, Gordy's smiling. I'm a Ranger fan, but yeah,
I was
that's
there
happening.
last night in Nashville, so it was ugly.
Oh, it was ugly. Yeah, this just, we thought it was going to be a great decision. I'm a big Sullivan fan, but I don't know if he took that for the right reasons. And Roy, what is he in this is his second year or going into his third year?
I think third or something.
Yeah, so a bunch of new players, and then the Devils have their youth coming in, and Pittsburgh all of a sudden is ramping up, and now they're starting to fall off a little bit. It's just so when you have those inconsistencies on 4 teams right there, that's you're going to pull in 500 records or 2 games over 500 or 2 games under 500. I mean, look at what Buffalo's doing now. All of a sudden, winning. We're on a heater 4 or 5 games in a row, whatever the heck it is, and now 2 weeks ago they were the talk of Thompson wanted to trade, they wanted to move this, they wanted to move that, and now they're talking, this is the nucleus they want to keep because they're on they're on a little tear. So as I like to say, you're going to see these teams as consistently inconsistent for some time.
Yeah, the Sabres are their last 6 games they've won. So
but who would have thought that would have happened 2 weeks ago?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think they went 12-game losing streak to a 6-game win streak.
Yeah, like the Oilers last year. They lose like 7 and they win like 15. It's like what has happened? It's like I wonder like what goes on. Like, is it like a vibe thing? Is it just like I know like the kids like when I coach like they'll just go through a streak of not scoring and they'll score one like we could do this, like let's just score 5 more.
I think it's really like momentum based, honestly. And then once you get the momentum going, the coach gets all fired up, and I feel like it's a lot is with momentum.
So. Yeah, it is. It is a lot with momentum. You got to. I mean, no offense to anyone on this call, but remember at the end of the day, they're still kids. You got a lot of 20, 21, 22-year-olds playing in the league without a lot of experience. You look at those teams maybe that they don't have a lot of vets on the team to push them along. It wasn't like it was even 10, 15 years ago where they were so top heavy on vets on a team to push those teams along. And then they become inconsistent. I mean, Edmonton's probably a little bit different of a story. This year they made that goalie swap a week ago, which some people questioned. They thought Edmonton won out on the swap, but I think it was just 2 guys that needed new opportunities and new places to shed a little light on their life. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on that trade? I feel like actually I'll let you guys talk and I'll give my opinion after.
Wait, what was the question?
The Jarry Skinner trade.
I mean, I agree with what Rick just said. Like, it kind of both those goalies needed a new place to play.
Yeah.
Try to kind of revamp their career. Not that, it hasn't been a good career so far, but they both needed out from where they were.
Yeah, and what's funny about Skinner is that, he kept them, when you look at like the playoffs last year, he kept them in a lot of those games where, to Jared's point before, why is there so many inconsistencies? But Skinner was in it. Yeah, he had some humdingers, games 1 and 2 of the Eastern Conference where he couldn't stop a beach ball. But, you know, for the most part, it was really him that got him to the finals.
I think it too. It's a lot of mental stuff too. Like I feel like the Leafs, like as much as like I want to like shit on them, they just get the media just rips them to shreds, and like the Oilers too. They're always in like the hot spot, and Skinner being a hometown kid, like I feel like he dealt with the most shit out of any person. Like I feel like he actually handled the media pretty well, and he just
Yeah,
needs
he
to
did.
get the fuck out of that area and go to like not that Pittsburgh's a small market, but I think it takes a lot of heat off him.
Yeah, I think so too, and
Mm.
I'm curious to see how Jari's going to do in Edmonton. I question that. I think I media feels different. I think Pittsburgh won that trade,
Yeah,
but
with the second round
listen,
pick for sure.
with the second round pick, that's what really did it for sure. But you don't know. You don't even know if they're going
They're
to make another trade before the deadline. Who knows what's going to
They
happen?
definitely will. The Pittsburgh, the defenseman apparently that they gave to Edmonton, I can't think of his name. Apparently, he's a pretty solid like stay home defenseman, which I think is something that lacked. I don't know what like the under the hood stats are for the Oilers, but I feel like every Oilers game I watched, their defensive play is so weak that like they're just walking down Broadway and just peppering Skinner. Like I didn't think they have a very like
No, they
strong
don't have
defensive.
it. No, they don't have it. You know, they got a couple offensive minded guys, and the rest of the guys could be, maybe 4, 5, or 6s on other teams. And I think they spread that 4, 5, 6 mentality throughout, players 3 and 4, and then that's where they fell, and that's why Skinner had to stand on his head a lot the last, couple years in the playoffs. So we'll see. You don't know. It's still so early in the season. I mean, look,
Definitely.
we talk about the Rangers before, we joke around with them, but at some point you would think, just if history dictates himself, and I hate history sometimes because systems and players change all the time for the obvious, but at the All-Star game, All-Star weekend, we're saying, this is a crapshoot. What the hell's going on? And before you know it, they're ringing 13 out of 15 off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
you
think
just don't know.
it's so mental. I think hockey is like
Oh,
people
yeah.
don't think it's so mental, but really like everything is so mental. Like as a goalie, it's probably even more so. But I'm sure like I was gonna even compare you throw Skinner on like the Carolina Hurricanes, which is such a
Yeah.
strong defensive team. You could throw any guy in there, like any solid goalie is gonna look like a superstar. And not to discredit anyone. And by the way, Long Island kid, Brandon, is it Bussy? How do you pronounce it?
Yep. Who actually played at the Royals, Sound Beach kid. Back in the day, his dad was actually a goaltending coach down at the Royals for a long time too. But yeah, he plugged him in. What has he got? 11 wins, 1 loss, and a couple
I think
ties.
he's 12-1-0 right now.
Yeah, he's 12-1-0 right now. So,
He
I
broke the
mean,
record.
yeah, who would have
Okay.
thought? And he was property of Florida, right? And then
He
Florida
was
released him.
Bruins,
I
and
think
then
the
they traded him to
Bruins
Florida.
traded Florida waived him, and Carolina picked him up because both their goalies are always hurt.
Yeah. So look at the way that opportunity. And I'm sure he'll have his kid. He's still a young kid, new in the league. And, you see how it plays out. He might go on another tear at 5 or 6, and he might go on a slow run of losing 3. You just don't know at this point. But for a goalie like him and his style, he's such a if you watch his games when pucks are in the corner, he's such a low goalie. He's putting one knee on the ground, hugging the post. That new style that was introduced, 10 years ago, where that inside pad is up against the post and on the ice, and that right side pad, if the puck's in the left hand corner, is up. I forgot what it's called because I'm not a
It's like
goaltender.
VH6 or something,
Yeah,
I think.
something ridiculous, but that's what worked for him. He plays very low, and he's not getting beat up high. He takes up a lot of the net, and he's fitting in right great. But it's also because of Brenda Moore's system. It works well from him. He's not getting shell shocked with 40 shots a night.
Yeah.
I think they play man to man there,
Mhm.
which is, the Rangers tried that last year, and that was an epic fail. But it's very, very tough to play man to man, and they're able to do it.
And their
Maybe that's a
trap.
benefit to him.
Their
Yep.
neutral zone 1-2 trap is stupid.
Stupid as you don't like it, or stupid as it works.
Oh, I know it works.
It works.
I don't know how
That's
I
what
feel
makes
about it.
Stupid.
It's stupid good. It's like it's really effective. And it's hard to pull the 1-2 trap. off. Like I feel like most teams are not doing that.
Well, that was to eliminate obviously speed coming into the
Yeah.
neutral zone, and it's worked. It's worked for sure. But some teams have the personnel to do it, and others don't. Carolina does for sure.
Yeah. No, 100%.
I mean, you look at a team like Tampa Bay. I know they'll run trap too, but you look at how many players have come in and out of there over the last 3 or 4 years, and then they sign a guy like McDonough, and people question it at 38 years old. And Lightning fans, oh, it's all great that he's here because they want that love of keeping him there and retiring as a Lightning. But he fit into that system at 38 years old, where he's going to make well below what he probably deserved in the open market, and he's got a home for the next 3 or 4 years before he retires. But he fits into that system in Tampa Bay, and that's why they brought him back.
Also, such a strong defensive defenseman. Like
Uh-huh.
there's not that many like that nowadays. I feel like it's
No, and
all
that's to your point. That's what something like Edmonton needs.
yes.
That's what's needed. That's what they're missing.
I feel like Ekholm was like trying to fill that role. I don't know, like back, but I feel like he hasn't lived up to like the Ekholm in Nashville was just a different Ekholm than it was so far in Edmonton.
Well, true. So, and again, to the point that the team that he was on years ago,
Yeah.
he fit there. He could be the number 3 defenseman. He could be the number 2 defenseman and not have to do as much. Where here they tried to make him and maybe a 2, maybe a 1 at times, and it's not working out as well as what they thought. Because I think they're asking him to do more than what they needed based off defensemen's 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah. Is he on that top line with Bouchard? I don't even know.
Yeah, their top defenseman should be Bouchard. Yeah.
Gotcha. Do they play together, him and Ekholm? You know?
I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know.
Gotcha.
I don't
Awesome.
think they do.
Okay. I was gonna say too. I mean, I really didn't even introduce the episode. I mean, we're joined. Thank you for joining, Rick. I mean,
Oh,
should be
you're
a fun.
welcome.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Been a while. Emma, we haven't caught up yet either. I'm sure you've got a couple fun stories to talk about. An Aspen at the NHL Alumni Classic. How the hell am I
Yeah.
getting a thumbs up? You got any cool
I
stories to
really
share?
want to be able to do that, but my computer doesn't do it. But yeah,
Mm.
I was in Aspen last weekend. It was honestly the most unreal experience I've ever had. And me and my dad were able to go to that. I'm so grateful. And so, yeah, so it started last Thursday. We flew in, and, until Sunday, every night was an event, whether it's during the day, and then we have another event at night. Like, every night, everyone ends up at the club, honestly. I will say I did end up barefoot in Aspen for a little bit, but
It's
I had
okay.
my shoes, but they were hurting. Girls, beauty is pain for us. But yeah, I made a couple guys hold my shoes throughout the night because it's just like there's so many just like most of them are guys, and they bring their wives, girlfriends, whoever. But I met a lot of influencers and a lot of former NHL players, and like some of the big ones are I met Lundqvist and Flower, which are huge guys, and that was like a dream come true, obviously. And like Matt Barnaby, Brian McCabe, Chris Chelios was there. Biz came on the last night, but I did not see him, unfortunately. But yeah, and then there were a bunch of influencers, like Old Time Hockey guy, he was there. And then the hockey guys were there. The on
Was
the
Swaggy
bench
P?
guys. Yep, Swaggy P was there, and same with Pavel, who's the Hey Barber guy.
Mhm.
He is so funny. All of those guys, at first I was a little iffy. I was like, they're all like doing their own thing. I don't really want to bother them. But they ended up being the nicest guys ever. And yeah, they're great people and very inclusive, because when I went there, I didn't know anyone. And so I thought I was going to be following my dad around like a puppy dog, but it was quite the opposite, honestly. But there were some really cool people there. I really liked Kyle Quincy was really nice. Also, Robert Bertuzzo was so nice. There was another guy. Shoot. His name was Daniel. I totally forgot his last name, but he was really cool. But yeah, everyone was just super cool, super inclusive, and wanting to just get to know you. So
Did your dad have any talks in the game?
Oh my God. So he had a penalty shot against Flower, and it was an inch away. Sorry, I'm sick. It was an inch away from going into the net, dude. And everyone was like freaking out. So everyone, like, when my dad like reintroduced himself to other people, he was like, "Oh yeah, like I was the guy that had the penalty shot against Flower," and they're like, "Oh, okay."
That's insane.
That's great. Great
But,
stories.
yeah. And I think so. We went with Dan Cleary. He's my dad's really close friend. So he's the one who kind of mentioned the event to us. And so Helen, his wife, got a video of it. So I'll send it whenever I get
Hell
it.
yeah.
But yeah, it was great.
Oh my god.
But
That's
yeah, unreal experience. I could not it was the most amazing experience. Like it's probably top 5, maybe even top 3. So
I saw the preview a couple days ago. No, last week? Late last week on NHL Network with the
Yeah.
view of the mountains in the
oh my
background, and
God, it was beautiful.
it was gorgeous.
And I hear that next year it was a little bit unorganized when it came to the big game. People were trying to get shuttles, and then they couldn't, and there wasn't enough room. So, and it was 45 minutes away, so you can't just like Uber there. I mean, the Uber is like you'd rather just take a free shuttle, you know. But next year apparently it's going to be even bigger. So it's been growing throughout the years, and now that like Fleury has come. Lundqvist was there. It definitely is going to grow, and I think there's going to be a lot more awesome players there next year.
And if they need any grocery sticks, they know to call.
And also, they were giving away stuff like it was water. It was unreal. I got this hat. I got like 4 hats. They gave my dad 3 hockey sticks, a pair of gloves. Yeah, dude, the hockey sticks blew me away. 2 hockey bags, a bunch of seltzers. And then they were sponsored by a glasses brand, so I got like 4 pairs of glasses, but they were really just handing stuff out for free, just like, all right, like take it type of thing. But actually, I thought this was a little crazy. One of the sponsors of the event was a shrooms company. So they're like handing out shrooms on platters, and like all these people who've never taken them are just like grabbing them and like eating them. I'm like, oh my God, like what is going on? So,
At the game?
Not at the game.
Oh, I was gonna say they probably don't want
every
people to
night
take the
there was
shuttle
an
back.
event. So like we would be in the club, and there'd be girls like handing out platters of shrooms, and we're like,
Oh my
That's
god.
nuts.
That's
I
wild.
mean, it was just crazy. But I guess when in Colorado, I feel like is like one of those very chill hippie places,
Yep.
like, known for people smoking and all that stuff, and kind of indulging in all of those types of things. So I guess I'm not that surprised, but still, I mean, like they were handing out gift bags. Well, I mean, like I didn't get any, but yeah,
No
craziness.
shit. Hey, there's a trend I see among NHL players or hockey players in general having blonde wags. Is there a lot of
Oh
And-
God, yeah.
okay?
Yep. It's more, I will say, the older guys, some of them actually were single. A lot of them are like recently divorced or divorced in general. Or I don't know if some of them haven't even been married, but like some guys were getting after it. And I was like some of the older ones, and I was really surprised. So,
No
but
shit.
yeah, most of the wags are blonde. There were a lot of girls my age there, and all their boyfriends were playing or something, or a little bit older than me, like, you know, late 20s, early 20s, whatever. Most of them were blonde, but Ross Lynch was there.
Oh, he was
is-
playing, right?
Yeah, he was playing. So if you don't know Rick, he's an actor / singer. He's more of the young girls know who he is. So he was on like what was he on? Disney or
Yeah, he's on like a
Something like
Disney
that.
show. I can't remember what show though.
He-
I'm sure
was on
my
Teen
daughter's
Beach
11. I'm
Movie.
sure I'll ask her. She'll
Oh,
know.
100% she'll
Yeah.
know. Like he was on Teen Beach Movie. He did do like not a documentary thing, but kind of. But and then now he sings, but he was there, and I remember I saw him. I was like, I think that's Ross Lynch, and I didn't see the list yet, and then I realized it was him, and I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my God. My dad gets up, just walks over to him because he was staying in my hotel. He goes, hey, like, what's your name again? Are you playing? Like, he was like, are you playing in like the event? And he was like, yeah, I am. So my dad asked for his name, whatever. And then I walked over and I was like, hey. But he's a very normal guy. And his girlfriend was so sweet. We went to a lunch together. She's really nice. But yeah, she's from Germany, but she's not blonde. But I guess he's not really an athlete. So, but she's very nice and they're very real people, which
Awesome.
surprised me, honestly, because sometimes celebrities can be a little bit full of themselves, but he was not at all. So yeah,
Oh yeah,
I thought that was a little random that he was there, but he did
good.
well.
It's like Beebs playing. It's like good for like the outside the crowd.
Totally, yeah. Next year I think it'll be awesome, more
Oh, yeah.
awesome than this year, I mean, because this year was great.
Oh yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, kind of switching gears. I mean, Rick, so you, I mean, you've been coaching for a number of years now. You grew up playing. Did you grow up on Long Island?
Yeah, I grew up on Long Island. I grew up in Farmingville, out east. Was a Sachem kid growing up, and played for PAL. Like I said before, when they were playing at a Superior rink in Kings Park, there was no rinks back then. None of you guys were born either, but that's okay. And the rinks opened up in, oh geez, probably like around. It's got to be around 1990. So I was a Bantam then at PIL that last year that, Superior McQuiggan at the rink said, no more, you guys are out. We're going to open up the Royals again. PIL had to find a home. Rink wasn't ready. So they were playing all over the island, anywhere they could find ice. So I went over and started playing junior hockey for the Junior Islanders. The Royals had sold, so there were really two main junior teams on the island. It was the Islanders and good old Apple Corps out of Long Beach. Played there for 4 years. Was a part of a national championship. Was great. And then the college hunt came. I stayed home for 2 years. Playing junior hockey. Went to Suffolk. And then, like I said, the choices came. I was signed, sealed, and delivered, ready to go to Cortland, ready to go. Went to a junior showcase down in South Jersey. Two teams come up to me and start to talk, Delaware and Towson, which were, Division One club teams at the time. My parents forced me to go look at them. Looked at Delaware. I said, all right, this is pretty cool. We're going down south. It's only 4 hours away, nice and close. Don't have to go north. And Marshall Stevenson from Towson at the time, who's been there forever, um, brought me down to Towson, went on a recruiting trip. My other two coaches there at the time were Gary Risling, who played for the Caps and the Penguins and the Baltimore Skipjacks. If you look up online, it looks like half his face is all scarred up. And also Ivan LeBray, whose numbers retired down at the Verizon Center, who I'm still very close friends with his son to this day. And then when I got out of college, I started coaching at Sachem for a couple of years, the freshman team there. After that, went off to coaching the PAL, the junior team with Ron Kinnear for a few years. That was a fun experience. I was still young at the time. I was 26 years old, coaching 16, 17, 18-year-olds. Built great friendships and relationships, like, Noel Hank, for example, who's down in Long Beach now for a long time and lives down there. And, after 6 or 7 years of being at the Royals, right, the year before Sandy, Noel had reached out to me and said, hey, would you be interested in going to Long Beach? I was living in Northport at the time, but moving to Seaford because my wife had rented a house here, well, my girlfriend at the time, and fell in love with Long Beach. The first couple months was tough because it was a tier 3 organization. Gordo remembers.
Mhm.
That's where, we met, a few years later after me coaching there, and the pleasure of building a great relationship with your dad. And, it took me about 3 years to get settled into a different mentality from that tier 1 to tier 3, as weird as that sounds.
It's nuts.
Uh,
Huge gap.
it's a huge gap because it's so weird. I mean, Royals, class act organization. They treated me like gold there. Jack Craig was there running everything at the time. But at the Royals, we had the luxuries of that was the year. Those were the years that LaFontaine and Steve Webb were down there with that national team that Foxy played for, and Bill Guerin had just retired. So his son, they were living on the island in Huntington, and he was coaching down there. So I had all these people that I could chew their ear off because they had the later practice. So I learned a lot from them my last couple of years with the Royals. But shifting gears from a mite team that practiced 3 days a week and had a 60-game schedule to, an organization that was tier 3, and it was, we pay 30 games, 40 games, and we like the local Long Beach guys, and we're not going to charge a lot. But you know what? Over the years, they really built a brand for themselves, for sure. I've been on the board since I started, for 15 years. First it was with Noel and Joe Brand, and now, Matt Angst took it over. So they're with him. But when we see how much we've grown, and, tier 3, tier 2, 6 of one, half a dozen of another. But to see how we've grown, and we're at 45% of the kids from Long Beach, and everyone else is from outside. And with the dynamics changing with tier 1, from the Arrows going tier 1, the Junior Islanders up in Northwell, and the Gulls leaving now and going to Westchester for the younger groups, it's like, we were talking in meetings saying this is really going to benefit our area for sure. Hence why we have the numbers we do now in mites. So we have 3 mite teams now. My son Brody, who's on the younger team, we have, I think, 32 skaters there. And then there's that mid team, the blue, that has another 15. And then, the other my team, the kids looking to go to Squirts, have 18 kids. So it's definitely built up the right way. And we've kept it affordable for everyone on the island, which has been nice. And listen, you put any group of people together, I say all the time, whether it's us or another organization, there's always going to be that 1 or 2% that almost try to ruin it for you. And that's just human nature. That's whether it's in work or down at any rink, it just happens. But when you start to push that outside noise, and you're there for the kids, and we really, really focus on the kids, for sure. The good old USA Hockey model: are they happy coming? Are they happy when they're there? And do they want to come back? And we really try to filter that into them. And my son, for example, I was hesitant for him to play, and because I was telling my wife Jen, I was like, it's a go. I'm 51 years old. How many more years you think I'm going to do this for? Not that I want to coach him forever, because I don't. But it's a go, and it's a long run, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if he's going to say, I want to play another tier hockey. I want to go away and play. I had a prep school talk to me. Or maybe none of it happens. Maybe he just plays rec league when he gets older, plays men's league. He's happy, plays club hockey. And that's all I want, you know, for sure. But we've really focused on the kids. A lot of happy people continue to come back. And, it's been great, for sure.
It's the best. I love coaching. It really there's no better thing to do. I feel like when they're happy, it's like they're also playing better too. Like you talk about like them being happy. When my kids are like all down in the dumps, they play terrible. I'm like, yo, smile, go have fun out there. They go score a goal, they come back like, oh, like, yeah, like why didn't we do that? I'm like, you guys are knuckleheads.
Yeah, but they like that. It's if you can, like, for you have a great group over there. And Gordy, when I was coaching you, your dad and Midges, we didn't have a great team there,
No.
but for some strange reason, we stuck together.
Yeah.
We had 1 or 2 oddballs, we stuck together. It was great. But it's nice to see your dad every year, and run into him, or hear, oh, Scott Gershon, that's down at the county, and we start rattling off names, and this one knows that one, and that's what it's really about. And for me, my parents, 79 years old now, or 80 years old now, and my dad said the biggest reward for him was you're still involved and you love doing it, and he couldn't have asked for anything more. And it's what you do. But when you guys will see, and if Gordy, if you ever coach one day,
One
but
day will be.
you'll one day you'll find a way. Maybe it's 1 day a week or whatever the hell it is. But you'll see, Jared, the biggest reward in the world is, listen, all kids grow up. It's common sense. But when I see a kid that was a mite and 5 years old, and they come back and they're 23 years old, one, you say, oh shit, oh my God, how long have this has been going on? But it's great, because they hug you hello, they still call you Coach Rick. The parents still remember you. And what are you doing in your life? Like what all 3 of you are doing now. I know, Emma, I didn't have you when you were younger playing hockey or anything, but yeah, it's so freaking. It sounds so selfish, but it's so rewarding to see that down the road. And I think that's what really, the smiles on the faces when they're there, and that reward later on when they come up to you. I wouldn't have done this. We saw each other at the rink. You mentioned it, and I reached out to you again later on, and that was it.
Oh, it's awesome. Glad you came on. I mean, as far as you've coached some pretty notable names. I mean, what did you know that like at I don't know if it was 16U or 18U, did you know Fox would be the player he is, or Coronado, or
You
any of
know,
those guys?
Matty Coronado, I don't feel got his justice when we were at the Royals at first. He the kid had hands like you wouldn't believe, but didn't have the speed of Master Simone. And Rich, the dad, wanted to, he was looking for that higher level of hockey. And, once he hit, I think it was Pee Wee and then went off to maybe the Gulls in another organization, or no, Bantam, I'm sorry, went off somewhere else. That's when he really started to take off. And I think his years in Chicago, when he was playing minor leagues for a couple of years and had broke a few of those records and stuff, both Metro Simone and also Coronado, because they played at the same team in the USHL. Um, they took off. But back then, yeah, you saw a glimpse of it. You did with Maddie and Robert. Yeah, Fox. He was playing on Pat's team. I was coaching the other team. Um,
Emma, if you got to bounce too, you're totally good. Don't worry.
All right. Bye, guys. I gotta
bye.
go.
Take care.
It was good meeting you, Rick.
Yeah, good meeting you too. Take care.
Bye.
Foxy had it, but there were other guys. That team was so dominant. That midget American team that they had there. They were because LaFontaine's son was playing. There were a bunch of guys that got drafted. They were so dominant that you really didn't know what was going to come out of it. But yeah, they had glimpses of it compared to the other kids. To answer your question, yeah, you thought there was a strong potential for them to go somewhere at the mite and Pee Wee age. No, not so much. You knew they had the skills. Robert was better than everybody else and playing squirt at the same time. Um, Coronado should have been there too, but there was only that one player, rule to move a player up in the organization, from mite to squirt. But I think listen, everything worked out great for Coronado, obviously.
Yeah.
And he's in Calgary. I got one of my buddies I played college hockey with who, works for the Flames for the last 20 years. And they've said he's a pleasure. Such a good kid. It's been great. No questions asked. So he's adapted well and he's fit right in. But then you look at a guy like, I didn't coach Charlie when he was younger, but if you would talk to people that know him, friends, whatever, if it wasn't for someone getting injured on that U.S. national team and I'm drawing a blank of, his college coach that developed him, who coaches, I think he's with the Rangers now, an assistant. They didn't think that he was going to make it either. They weren't sure. But once he had his opportunity to jump into that U.S. national team, he shined and he went. So it's hard to say. The problem that you see now, and I hate saying problem, but at the tier ones, as great as it is to see all these guys playing somewhere, it's awesome. I love it. Gordy knows what I'm going to say next. It ruins the mentality of the parents that think everyone's going to the NHL. They lose focus of their kid and what's important. I hope a bunch of them do, but that story isn't for everyone. It's such a small percentage of a kid that makes it. Some parents unfortunately lose insight to what the real picture is, and it's giving your kid a great experience at junior at any level of travel hockey without getting involved and letting them develop on their own, letting them learn those life skills. I've sat down with so many parents over the years, and my wife has had the conversation with me, and I've had the conversation with my wife because I've done it too, guilty as charged. But you just want to provide them an area where they can succeed, be happy, and build an experience out of it. That's all. And that's for them. That is for them to do because it's as a coach, you want to be. It's more important to me that I'm teaching them the life skills, even at the mite level. I'll have this conversation with the mites. You're going to be friends with these kids for most of your life. Believe it or not, you're going to see them when they're 10, 11, 12, 13. And Brody comes after me afterwards. He goes, I'm not going to be friends with him my whole life. I'm like, yeah, okay, dummy. You're going to be friends with him. Don't worry about it. But when you guys think of yourselves, you have your core group that you know for years from growing up from the rink. And then there are one-offs all over the place. You'll talk to a guy, you haven't seen him in 10 years, you'll talk to him. And it's like you pick up right where you left off. And
That's the
I think
beauty of
that's what
it.
the important thing. That is the beauty of it for sure.
Yeah,
It's
I think
great.
hockey's different too than most other sports. Like the life skills you learn and like the guys in the locker room, like those are like those are like your brothers. Like it's different than like other sports, you don't have that like bonding. Also, you don't play as many games. Like you're going all over the country or East Coast or the Northeast, wherever you are, and you're playing like 40, 50 games, which is like if I told like a T-ball mom that, like, oh yeah, your 7-year-old kid's gonna play 45 regular season games and then 2 tournaments somewhere around the country, plus playoffs if they make it, which who knows is even in New York. It might be in like Jersey, Pennsylvania,
Yeah,
Connecticut. Um, but you're just with the boys all the time. And I think that's just such a
it
good
does, and it takes that dynamic. You know, when I was younger and I played, I think I was on the varsity team in 10th grade. And believe it or not, I wound up getting cut in 11th grade because I had made the junior team and I thought I was this nonchalant, I can work my way through everything. And the coach wound up freaking cutting me, which was the best life lesson that ever happened to me. And to this day, the coach was Paul Longo, who coached Ward Melville football also for years. I mean, to this day, I can not sarcastically, but seriously thank him because that was a huge life lesson for me that developed. But the hockey community, yeah, I try to talk to people is so different because one of the things that I thought I regretted when I was younger, you know, I went to Sachem High School where I had 1,500 kids in the class. The hockey guys were close. I was never part of a group.
I think you got a call.
Yeah, you heard that?
No, I got a
No.
notification. Like it popped up on
Oh
Riverside.
yeah, my wife. I ended her. I told her I was on this thing, but she's still calling me. She loves me after 20 years. What can I say?
That's amazing.
Yeah, amazing. Uh, it, where the hell was I going with this? Is that you get this core group of friends outside of the drama of high school, and I think that's what clicked for me with like my son starting to play is there's so much dramas in the schools, whether it's 200 kids in your graduating class or 1,200 kids in your graduating class, especially in today's world because of social media and all the other dynamics. It wasn't like, and I'm sorry, I'm aging myself again. It wasn't like it was years ago. Mom, Dad, I'm going out. I'll be at Michael's house till 10 o'clock and I'm coming home. That was it. You walked out the door, they didn't know anything. But now everything's so quick and filters so quickly to take him out of that dynamic and put him down at the rink with a different group of kids that he could build relationships with. I personally feel it just helps his development as a kid overall. And that to me is more important than the hockey part of it.
Definitely. No, I mean that all makes sense. Yeah, I mean, switch gears, talk a little bit NHL. Unless you have anything else about coaching and yeah.
Hey, anything
No,
about
If you
coaching?
have any last thoughts
Oh,
too with like the coaching stuff. I actually have one last thing too with the coaching.
all right.
I had a kid when I coached in Florida. He was homeschooled because he played on like he was playing like tier one, I want to say, in Florida. There's only one tier one team, so they travel all over the country every weekend. And then he'd play at the time it was Toronto Bulldogs, but now I think he's playing Junior Red Wings. So he's all over the country all the time. And he was like 9 years old. Like I feel like that. I don't like. What are your thoughts on that?
I know it's hard. You know, you look at, you know, what came to my mind right away because I thought about this before. You look at kids that are actors now. Yeah, they're making a boatload of money, and you know, they're away from home. They're getting homeschooled. They're on the road a lot. I'm sure some people regret it. Some people don't. I mean, you know, you look at like the guys we were talking about before like you know like Mastro and Coronado. I've never asked them that question if you regretted you know being up in Minnesota and playing in prep school for years and missing out on those younger years, you know, when whether it was 10th or 11th grade or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah,
I don't know. That wasn't me. I was the opposite side of it. I stayed home for 2 years. I mean, yeah, I was traveling and stuff. My parents were always involved everywhere, but yeah, I'm sure some guys regret it, and I'm sure some guys, you know, savor the moment because you can't take away that life experience at all. And if you love it as much as they do, and he's having a blast, and you know he's playing junior hockey, and you know all over the place, hey, listen, if that's what he wants and that's what's going to make him happy, then do it. If he's forcing himself and he's doing it just because he's done it over the years, then I say pull the plug. But
yeah.
you know.
No, it's definitely interesting, and like the way they're scouting 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds with these like the Brick Invitational, then even Quebec at 12. Like,
Dude, they have agents. They have agents that come down to the rink now for 7 and 8 year olds. because they want to see what the season. It's a lawyer, it's a lawyer, and they want to see what the season's like, how much they're paying, how much ice time are going to be promised, and all this other stuff. And you laugh at them. Here's your release. Go to another organization. You're not dealing with that.
Wild.
Yeah, it's wild,
Crazy.
but it is
And
crazy. It is crazy for sure. But that's just, and I'm sure it's only going to get more intense
definitely.
as the years go on. Like I said, I you ready for this one? Back in '94 when the Rangers won the cup, we were going to date things really good. Your dad will remember this, Gordo. When the Rangers won the cup, hockey got so freaking big, just like it was with the Islanders in the early '80s. Everybody, that's why I started playing hockey. I went to a puck shoot at Smith Haven Mall where Bossy and Trottier, where I never picked up a stick before at 7 years old. I wound up winning the damn thing, and that's it. I wanted to play hockey. So it got so big those years when teams do well, a nice foundation. Then when teams weren't doing well, you would saw attendance would start to plummet. But now again, because there's so many kids from the island, and it really started with Jim Pavis in the '80s, and then Chris Higgins, who played for PAL, and then more often had a great career at Vancouver and stuff, and Mike Komisarek. Those two are the ones that really started to get kids locally, especially in Suffolk County, got kids to really get into ice hockey because they said, well, if he's in it, I could do it too. And then you saw the second round with, the McAvoys and the Coronados and, Master Simone, how popular he was on the island. And now, and Bussy, you're playing at Carolina. These kids see this. So now they want to play. And you'll see if you ever go down to a learn to skate or learn to play program, whether it's the Rangers at Long Beach or the Islanders at Northwell, I mean, they got 70 kids on the ice.
Yeah.
And out of the 70, 60 of them never stepped on ice. And of the 60, 50 of them never even sharpened their skates when they went on the ice. So it's a complete yard sale. It's hysterical, but it shows what's been going on because of what happens, around them. It really does. And it's only going to get bigger.
In South Florida, it's the same thing. I was down there from 2022 to 23. And also all the coaches are from either like New York, Massachusetts, or Canada. And really good coaching talent, like amazing
Well,
coaches
Chris
down there.
Farazzoli. I don't know if you know him. He's another one from the island, from Nassau County. Played junior hockey up here. Played at Delaware. Was a stud. Played at Sacred Heart as well. And now he's down there. I think he does training for the Tampa Bay Lightning. That's where they all moved.
It's unreal. Yeah, I mean, they're putting together there's so many kids playing hockey in South Florida and Tampa now, which is amazing to see. And it's crazy. Like, I mean, it's grown a million times over in the last probably 10 years.
Oh yeah.
Lightning got hot, and now the Panthers are red hot, and everyone wants to play hockey. It's so cool to see.
Yeah, well, you look years ago when, obviously the Gretzky factor. Everyone knows that story. You guys weren't around for it, but it was a huge thing when Gretzky went to the Kings. Yeah, it was sad for Edmonton and all that other stuff. And if no matter what fan you were of hockey, you were an Island fan or Range fan, there was a part of you that liked the Oilers because of what they were doing and who was on that team. But when Gretzky went to LA, obviously it's true. The Gretzky factor was the stories that they tell, as true as can be, bringing in and the Anaheim and San Jose and Arizona, and now the Sun Belt State with Tampa Bay and Florida and Carolina. It was true what happened. It really did, and that's hockey expanded really because of him.
They like a lot of the kids like sometimes listen to the pod that I coach, or like even like friends, like they'll chirp me because I always say like just wait, McDavid's gonna be going to the Rangers, and not even because I'm a delusional Rangers fan, just because I think from a PR standpoint, having his face on like Broadway, the Big Apple, like McDavid, I think that just moves the needle for the entire league.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And sure, I'm delusional, a Rangers fan, but I do think it does help grow the game even more. Probably like the most iconic, biggest city in the world.
Yeah, it
I don't
does.
know.
It does. It does. Jim Dolan had a very special way of grabbing players into MSG on the tail end of the career. I mean, the Messier thing was a blessing in disguise, but You know, whether it was Gretzky or Yager when he brought him in, and then Peter Nedved played there for a while, and look who he brings in to draw that attention, and then again that's when kids start getting involved in hockey more and more because everybody wants that jersey, that trading card, that T-shirt, playing them on PlayStation and all the other stuff. I mean, it I don't think it was like that when you guys were younger because you would pick a local team, you'd be an Islanders or a Rangers fan, and that was it. My son's 6, Brody, he still can't pick who he likes. I believe it or not want him to be an Islander fan because it's easier to get to UBS. But
Yeah.
he liked the Detroit Red Wings for a while, Tampa Bay Lightning, now the Carolina Hurricane. The Anaheim Ducks because and then we went to a Solar Bears game because Jimmy Mazza was playing, another kid that I should have mentioned before, from the Royals that I coached that had a very successful minor league career. He wants to be an Orlando Solar Bears fan. So, it's I know Quarter's laughing. Don't you can't fix stupid, man. And he's King
Oh,
Knucklehead.
I was like the same way. Like when I was little, I'd like love a certain player, and then all of a sudden, like for a week, I'd just be rooting for that team, and then it'd
Yeah,
just
like
be right back.
Crosby. Like for you, it was
There's
Crosby and Malkin
Crosby,
and
Ovechkin,
Ovechkin.
I have a Crosby jersey. I have a Kane jersey.
Kane. Yeah, that's an iconic one.
Mhm.
Yeah, right.
100%.
That's what happens, and it really started with your generation, because it wasn't like that before. You would go to a sporting goods store and you would find, your home team jerseys, whatever what sport it was. But now with accessibility, obviously, you could just get a jersey anywhere. It doesn't matter. You don't have to go to a store. You just go online to Fanatics and buy whatever the hell you want.
Yeah. No, for sure. I had a kid in Florida. His favorite player was Joel Eriksson Ek, and he was a big Wild fan. I was like, what?
Where, where, where does that come from?
I don't know. I really don't know because he's like a Florida kid. I think his family's from like Boston. But
Uh-huh.
like, how does that even?
Because you turn on the TV now, you see one highlight of someone, and you're like,
Well, that's the other
you
thing,
know,
Gordo. You bring up a great point. You saw highlights, even when you guys were younger. It wasn't, if you wanted to watch the NHL games, it was by the NHL package. Parents didn't want to pay for it. I can imagine your father being like, I'm not paying for that effing thing. We're going to watch our teams and that's it. But now, today, you have the ESPN app, pay for it. You can watch any game you want because not even a lot of games. Like I saw on NHL Network tonight, there was only one game playing. You want to see all the games? Go to the ESPN app and watch all the games. It's accessibility now. So my son will go and pick any game he wants, doesn't matter where it is, what time, and he can watch it. And then you become a fan.
I remember I had the disc of the movie. It was the DVD was NHL's greatest goals, and it was just like you go to YouTube now and just like look at the highlight reel of like the goals, but like I would just run that thing into the ground just watching like it was like the top 100 greatest goals of all time. It was probably like 80s, 90s, 2000s, and just a million of those, and just be running that up and down, going to hockey games, wanting to pull off the moves. Whoever it was, Datsuk. I feel like Datsuk was like the
Yeah.
iconic one.
Oh yeah, well that Detroit team was absolutely freaking wild back then.
Insane.
Back then, I even remember years ago when, before him and the Russians all came over, actually a really good documentary about it on I think it was on Netflix about the first documentary was about it was really about the Russian side of the 1980 Olympics, not the everyone always talks about the US side and what they went through, but the Russian side, what went on with that was just from that perspective, you have a greater appreciation for the whole thing, for sure. But that was
Someone
another
told me
moment
about
that changed
that.
hockey. Yeah,
I think
definitely.
that.
Yeah,
think
I
it's-
enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because I don't remember the 80 team. I mean, I was only 7 years old, so I wasn't watching it. Shut up, Gordo. But no gray hair, Gordo. And I don't diet. Um, I don't remember the 80 Olympic team back then. Just have pictures and autographs and all the other jazz. But that Russian perspective, I got to find out. I'll let you guys know what the name of it was dynamite for me.
Awesome. No, I appreciate it. I guess one last kind of question. We've taken so much of your time, if I could speak English.
Yeah, it's okay. It's
If there's one team right now you think that like might get hot, aside from like there's a couple wagons, like no Colorado, no I don't know who else is like a true maybe
The
Carolina.
Wild.
The Wild, yeah. Like if
My
someone's
wild card is San Jose. I don't know
Been
what.
saying that.
they're fun and
Something.
frisky.
Yeah, and they're still young. You forget. I'm drawing a blank on his name again, but the guy who coached Charlie in college and then coached the Rangers for a while. Now he's back as an assistant.
Oh,
I
I know
just drew
you're
a
talking
blank.
about.
I know you're talking
He
about.
was the Rangers head coach too.
Yeah,
Like
he was the Rangers head coach there, and they brought him there for young talent. But if you remember, he was out in San Jose a few years ago
Ew,
with that.
David Quinn.
Yep, David
Quinn.
Quinn.
Yep.
Good look
Yeah.
up. He had a lot of that talent there and developed him now while that's what he was there for. And when you see them now, I like the way they're running. I do. I like San Jose. And if I had to pick one more sleeper, I was big into Anaheim in the beginning, maybe because it was the whole Kreider thing. I like the way they're moving, but I don't think they're sustainable in the playoffs with their system and stuff. But San Jose, I like how young they are. I like their speed. I mean,
Yeah,
they could fly up and down the ice. So I'm gonna go with San Jose.
I like that. What about you, Gordy? Any team like you think like might make a sneaky run?
I've been on San Jose for like this whole year so far.
But you watch, even
I
not
think-
this year, next year.
Yeah,
I-
same
well,
with Anaheim.
I
They
said-
only get better.
I think it was last year when they drafted Celebrini. Right, this is his second year.
Yes.
I said year
Yeah.
3, he's gonna be one of the most dominant players.
Yeah, to
in
your
the
point. And you know what's funny, Cordo? Another team to watch out for. They had a slow as shit start, excuse my language, and they're doing well now. So I don't know if they'll be a sleeper. Maybe they can only be a sleeper because they don't have that many names around them. But Boston has turned their season around. They have a very young team. Everyone was all over Sweeney for what he was doing, and it looks like it might eventually, it might work for them down the road if they can keep this core together. But I'll say San Jose 1, Boston a far 2.
I think Ottawa's a team that's getting slept on. Like Kachuk was out for a while, but they got pretty solid core.
They did. Well, Allmark
And-
is so happy there. He
Yeah.
loves it.
They got some solid goaltending. Like if Omar gets hot in the stretch, like leading the playoffs, they got some young, solid defensemen. They could probably use like that number 3 or 4 defenseman, like a real like a true number 3 or 4, and then maybe pad the depth on the forward core. And I don't know about a cup contender, but they're at least going to be a problem in the East.
Yeah, I think so. But they're not as. I wonder what I got to look it up later. What the average age on that team is.
I think on the younger side.
They on the younger side, not as young as San Jose.
No, I mean I could do a
No.
quick Google search. I would guess that they're probably like 25 and a half. If I was guessing.
Well, Claude Giroux is going to ruin that dynamic.
What's he like 36, 37?
He might be older than that.
I mean, he's got to be per this. Ottawa's 26.88.
All right, you were close.
And they're the 4th youngest team per NHL roster.
Look at that.
What's Utah? Does it say?
Utah,
like-
let's see.
Now that coach has got to go. Can't deal
Oh,
with
yeah.
that team. That's just
Utah's
ridiculous.
28.43, number 17. The Rangers are the
Yes.
10th youngest.
Well,
Which
when you
surprised
look look what's on their team. Those guys are getting older. You forget how those years go by fast. I mean, Foxy
Well, they're still
already.
they're still 10th youngest. I thought they'd be much older, honestly.
It's because like you got your Perot, Berard, Othman, Laba. Like they're all teenagers or 20.
Yeah. What was San Jose's? I'm not going to bore you with going down the line. What was San
It's
Jose's?
got to be.
They're 19, 28.47.
Oh wow.
But then you think
Yeah.
like
Well, they have a lot of vets on the back end.
exactly.
Yeah, they do.
There's a
they
big
do.
spread. There's like no middle. Like I think no one like 27 to like 32. Then they have like a bunch of like 35, 36. What's his name? The fighter's like 38. Reeves.
Yeah, Reeves. Who
And
was
then you have, like,
supposedly done with
Celebrini.
hockey.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
their vets are like
Yeah.
35 plus.
Now I'm going to look this up tonight.
Yeah.
That's when I'm going to
I'll
start
send
looking
you
up
the
average
source.
ages.
I mean, who knows? It's I don't know. The source is a Twitter post, so I mean,
No, but I
Could
want to
be
see. I
wrong.
want to go. I want to go into the rosters and dive in and just see where that disparity is and who they are, just to get an idea. Because then that'll dictate what next year's team looks like based off contracts and all the other stuff. But
Yeah.
Definitely.
yeah, that's it.
But
I'm gonna get Brody a San Jose jersey now.
love it.
That's where it's
Hey,
going.
that's a good team for the future. If you're looking for a
That's
team,
it's a good team to go away and watch and spend a few days in a hotel. That's the reason why I say that.
yeah, that Florida. I don't know, like anywhere warm. Like, oh, like you want to go to a game in the middle of January? Let's go to Tampa. I don't know. I'm actually going there next month for a tournament, but
Well, you look at college. I know you guys have to go soon, but you look at college hockey. And well, Gordon's like, "Where am I going?"
Yeah, I got nowhere to bet.
I think I just heard my family walk in, so Brody comes in screaming like a lunatic. We're gonna know why.
love it.
But oh no, you don't. You look at the way college has changed over, especially over the last 3 to 5 years, with the Clemsons and the North Carolinas and everything in Florida, coastal Carolina, where Gordy went.
Mhm.
That's where kids want to go now, and you know, that was my decision when I went to Towson. I wanted to go have a good time, play competitively, be the guy all the time, instead of going playing D3 and being stuck on the hole and, being miserable. These kids are starting to go away, and these guys that play junior A hockey, they're starting to go to these sunny areas down south, and they're loving it. They're
Yeah.
loving
I
it.
think my team at one point had maybe 7 guys that played juniors for a year, and then basically were like, we just want to go have fun at school and want to go somewhere warm and just dominate.
And it was great. And if I recall, Gordo, was your rink like an hour from the campus?
Yeah,
Or
so
something like that?
we played in Wilmington, North Carolina, which was like an hour and
Right.
15 minutes away.
Yeah, I remember your dad saying, he really wants to do it. He really wants to do it, because I kept on asking, like, the first year, is he going to play? Is he going to play? But obviously, the golf took off for
I
you, which is
wanted to
friggin'
play
awesome.
that first year, and they didn't let me.
Right, that's
it
what he
made-
said.
It made sense not to. Like, my first year, I had nowhere to keep my equipment, like, anywhere. So it made sense. But then once I got a car, I was kind of all set on playing.
You're all
That's
set
all.
on playing. Well,
Yeah.
One of the kids I coach, he plays for Auburn. His brother plays for Auburn club hockey, and they're like, it's a nightmare for them because they play. It's like an hour 30 the rink away, which sucks.
Yeah.
But the worst part is a different time zone. So they always are trying
Oh
to
my
figure
God.
out. Yeah, they get screwed with the time zone change for like practices and games. So like instead of having to leave like 2.5, 3 hours before a game, it's like they'll leave like 4 hours or 4.5 because the time zone they lose an hour going to the rink.
wow,
So it's
that's
like a real
crazy.
nightmare. I've never heard of anything like that. And it's just like,
Me either. That's wild. Imagine a college kid. I mean, if I was a college kid and I was getting up with Rick, I'd be late then half the time, not knowing what time zone I was in.
yeah,
I'd
I
be
guess you
done.
come back and you get an hour back, I think. So like that's cool. But
That's wild. But when you look at the dynamic of D1 club hockey that they call it, it's wild. Some of these teams, you see the attendance that they're drawing in and stuff. And, I've seen a few times on media, a couple of these D1 club teams beating D3 or D2 teams. It's starting to build, because to Gordo's point, kids, the last years, they just want to go and have a good time. And I don't even know so much about the education. They just want to go and have a good time, and play hockey and be a part of it.
yeah, I think UNLV D1 club either beat or took Denver to OT last year.
Yes. Yes.
I think they technically tied, but they played a shootout like for fun and won in the shootout.
Right.
So like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's pretty wild.
I think
Well, can you imagine?
Denver was missing some of their top guys,
I'm
Still.
sure they did.
but still UNLV took them that far.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm sure they didn't have their top line playing. And then once they saw the game start, they're like, oh shit, what the hell did we do? What do we get ourselves into here? But imagine you have kids one day, you will have kids, or you have kids one day, and they're like, Dad, I want to go play college hockey at UNLV.
Nuts.
It's like nuts. When I told I was looking, once this whole club recruiting thing started, and
Mhm.
I looked at Towson and I liked it, I wanted to go to Arizona State, because I had a friend going to Arizona State, and I visited out there, and I was like, oh my God, this is great. This is great. And then my parents were like, we're not traveling 4 hours on a plane to come out there to bring you home and go back and forth. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm not going.
Yeah,
But
you're gonna see. Go ahead.
No, God.
Not to say, like, I'm sure, like, by the time I have kids that are, like, looking at college, like, it's like, oh, Texas A&M is, like, the #1 school,
Yeah.
UT Austin, like, all the Oklahoma, huge hockey school. Like, all these,
It's
like, Big 12, it's gonna be nuts.
crazy. Crazy. But you know what? It's
Alabama,
great.
Georgia teams now.
What, Cord?
Alabama and Georgia for that.
Yep.
Both have 2 club hockey teams now.
But that's how
That's
when I played club hockey, Penn State was in there, their D1 team, Ohio University, Arizona State, University of Arizona, and we were usually ranked nationally like 5, 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there. And when we went to go, I mean, when we went to go play Penn State, I mean, I mean, over my 3 years there, I think we won 2 games and lost 4 to them and tied another 2, but they were a freaking powerhouse. Powerhouse. Now look what happened to them. These
Yeah.
teams go D1 and now they have club teams again.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, and they also, like, now the NIL money too. I mean, there's so many layers to this. Like, football schools are gonna be the best schools in hockey because unless you're a BU, BC, or, like, Minnesota, like, if you have infinite money from football, like, why would Michigan, Ohio State, like, Texas, all these big powerhouse football schools, they have the budget to throw 700K at Gavin McKenna.
That's how Penn State started because Mike Baptista, who was coaching the Penn State program, I mean, was friends with Joe Paterno at the time, and Paterno was really feeding that hockey program, um, to build it there. And in return, the team would do stuff for the football team, whether it was fundraising or being at the game to, help out staff, what have you. But it was a one hand washes the other type of thing. And I mean, the hockey players had the rights then, back in, I guess, 95, 96. They had the rights to use the facilities that the football players did, and nobody else was able to do that but them. Whether it was the indoor track or the weight room or anything else, they shared those facilities with the football team.
Damn. Yeah, it probably sweetens it. Probably along with the girls chasing, like, the football players and tagging along for some hockey guys definitely didn't
Yeah,
hurt the appeal.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, unless there's anything else, Rick, I really appreciate you coming on. And anything else before we let you go?
No, there's nothing else. Thanks for the opportunity. It was great to see you at the beginning of the season, when we spoke. And Gordo, I know it's been a long time for sure, but
You'll probably see me at the ring coming up.
yeah, I'll see you. But listen, I mean this. If you need anything, either of you, reach out to me. I will. If you want to help out with the mites once every 3 weeks, or you want to come on the ice with a team, you're more than welcome to, without a doubt, when you have a time in
Appreciate
your
it, Rick.
schedule. For sure.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Take care. Be well. And
You as well.